Hooday, Bengal fans. He is Eric. I am Jake. This is the Bengals Pulse. Mon is going to try to join us here in the next couple minutes. This is a good emergency Bengals Pulse as the Bengals have just signed star tight end Mike Gesicki to a 3-year, $25 million deal. We'll talk about the deal here in just a couple minutes. Thank you guys so much for joining us here again. I know this is kind of a last minute thing, but we figured, Eric, this has got to slow down the torches and pitchforks that have been Bengals Twitter here the last day or two. Very, very good news coming out of Cincinnati with hopefully some more to come. Eric, real quick, your initial thoughts on Mike Gesicki being a Bengal for the next 3 years?
I'm excited. I said I was going to wear the T. Higgins jersey until he was extended, but I had to break out the 88. Uh, this
I
is not
like
the
it.
Gesicki. This is not the Gesicki jersey, but now I finally have an 88 in stripes for 3 years, so I can go and get me a Mike Gesicki jersey. I can rock 88 for at least 3 years. I had a dream last night that the Bengals came to me and told me to go tell T that they were giving him everything he wanted. So this is not that coming to fruition, but I have a feeling that we're going to be doing another emergency podcast. This is the first domino to fall. The Trey Hendrickson stuff, kind of, we thought that might be the first domino, but I feel like sometimes you got to remove one, move things around, and then let the chips fall where they may. So I'm really excited for this. And then to hear the details, obviously, we're going to have to see the details of guaranteed money and whatnot, but 3 year 25.5 for the production that he had and really as a slot receiver, not just a tight end, I think is a pretty good deal. What do you think?
I mean, absolutely. I think, well, first of all, the Bengals, Ben Baby tweeted this out. Since 2020, the Bengals have committed the lowest amount of guaranteed money to tight ends over that span. Mike Gesicki, again, this ends up being about 8.5 mil a year, but Gesicki's getting 12 million that first year. So 12 million year one, 8.5. I think really, Eric, when we went in and did our simulator on this, we were pretty close, weren't we? I think we were pretty close to the $8 million mark. So to me, this is a home run. This is an absolute home run. I want to say Houday. Look at it. Both of my sister-in-laws are literally on my back porch right now, and they are in on the chat. I asked them if they wanted to come on the show. They said no, but we appreciate them jumping in.
Are they here to
Allison,
tell you that you're wrong about something, or are you just here to
listen, Allison and Amber agree with me about everything. They agree with me about everything. They know. They know that I know. They know that.
Well,
Uh,
I'm gonna have to confirm that from them. I don't believe that. I don't agree with you on most things, so
So, but this is a great deal, right? And it's interesting because the Bengals, the Bengals right now, really rounding out that tight end room. We haven't talked about T. Huddy. T. Huddy signing that 1 year deal yesterday. So you go out, you re-sign Tanner Hudson, and then today you got Mike Gesicki. So now we're back to the Gesicki, Sample, Hudson, and Grandy, and then obviously Eric all probably going to be missing a large portion, if not all, of 2025. So you really bring back your entire tight end room. The real question is, Eric, are the Bengals going to be looking at tight end now? I mean, I know that they love the tight end from Penn State. They actually officially met with him after the combine, but I don't really think they felt like he was going to fall to them anyways. But what's the tight end situation look like now? What do you think? I mean, do the Bengals go out and still get another vet? Do they draft another guy? Mon felt like they were definitely going to draft a tight end in the draft on our last show. What do you think?
yeah, I don't think we put Mike Gesicki as a tight end, or he's rated as a tight end, and paid as a tight end, but he really plays slot receiver more than anything. And sometimes not even in the slot, having him gives the flexibility to move him out and move Jamar into the slot, and he's a weapon out there. So he's really, a really big wide receiver. I don't think that we will go tight end in the first round anymore. I think that might take that out of play, but I could still see us going and signing another guy. Tyler Conklin of the Jets, I think, was just let go. I know the Jaguars moved on from their longtime tight end. The name escapes me right now, but I could see us getting someone to help Drew Sample out. We, being Tanner Hudson guys, I want to see some more T Huddy out there. But if we upgrade and can have those guys plus Gesicki on the field, it's just going to add weapons. And we've said this before: fill these holes in free agency. Get to a point where if that, what is the guy, Warren from Penn State that you want? Is that the tight end's name?
Yeah, Tyler Warren. I mean,
So
I like him, and I think the Bengals like him too.
yeah,
But
I mean, get to a point where if he's there and there's no good trade back offers, you take him because you take the best player available. That's what we've been preaching. That's how you make your team better. I think if he's there, you're probably going to get more value trading back now that you've got Gesicki, but set yourself up in this next week or two so that you don't have to worry about what position you go after. You just get really good guys.
I'm not sure,
Interesting.
and I'm not sure really. Like I said, I'm not sure really that tight end was even at play. I mean, that could be something the Bengals are are doing. I don't know who this Angela Ellis is, but man, oh man, that she is just blowing up the comments. She is so annoying. That is my wife, by the way. That is my wife. I using her maiden name. I guess she's trying to
Oh,
be incognito. She's very mad about Trey Hendrickson. My wife is. So now her and her sisters are literally in the room over from me, blowing up this about our defense. We'll talk about defense in just a minute,
listen,
ladies.
let's just. Jake's always complaining about defense. Jake, we could have the Baltimore Ravens, what a 2000, early 2000 defense with Ray Lewis out there holding
Yes.
people to 8 points a game, and Jake's gonna say this effing defense sucks. The rest of us, we want to score 50 points a game. Jake literally wants the other team to average 0.8 yards per attempt
Yes.
and have 0 points all along. That anything
Yes.
less, and Jake Owens is not happy. The
But
rest of the Pulse, we're realistic.
and yes, my sister-in-law Allison is correct. I have complained all year about it. Uh, no, no.
Wait,
My
uh,
wife will never be allowed on
listen,
the show.
we
She
might
will
do a show
never be
without you,
allowed on the
Jake.
show.
We're gonna let's go. Let's ask Mrs. Ellis anything show. Jake's not allowed to be there. I like that show.
I don't know why she's using her main name. Like she's trying to be incognito or something. She thinks she's
I mean, she
sly
could
doing
come in
that.
the room now if you want.
But listen, I really do. I did complain a lot about our defense. To me, that it's not so much giving up yards. It's not getting off the field, right? It's giving up the third downs, especially the third and longs. It's the bad tackling. But we talked about this, Eric. The Bengals really are going to be looking at completely changing this entire defensive room. You got a whole new defensive coaching staff in. Al Golden's going to want his guys. I mean, that is normal. That's normal. I mean, at any level of football, that is normal. So it's not that I don't want Trey Hendrickson. We were kind of talking about this. Myself, you, Mon, Zim, and Ace. We were talking about this earlier today. For me, it's just I am struggling with the fact, and we don't know what was offered to Trey Hendrickson, but if it was that 30 to 32 million a year, that's a fair offer from the Bengals. I mean, I don't know what else Bengal fans are expecting. They're not going to offer him 4 or 5 year deal. He's 31 years old. It's just not going to happen. It's not realistic. I was kind of hoping for maybe a 2-year extension. We're here in 1-year extension. It's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. Again, I said this on the last show. I said this. Oh, no, Jennifer. Jennifer, do not start thanking my wife. No, Jennifer. Do not do that, Jennifer. Jennifer, you and I always on the same page, Jennifer. Do not
Listen,
start that. But I think for the Bengals, it is going to be interesting to see how this all pans out. And I said this on the last show. Just because they are letting him seek out doesn't mean it's going to happen. So again, I think we need to maybe blow out the torches, put down the pitchforks, and just relax and see what happens. I do think that the T. Higgins thing is right around the corner. I think it will happen before Monday.
I hope so. I think so. My thinking, if the report is true, I think that we offered him 30 to 32, probably guaranteed the first year, maybe a roster, a playing time bonus in the second year, but we didn't guarantee the third year. I'm hoping that he wants to go out there and see what other teams will offer and see if anybody will guarantee him more than that first year. I still have hope that he could come back and say, okay, Bengals, let's run this back. I mean, at that age, sometimes you got to bet on yourself. Sign that 3-year deal for 30
Yeah.
million a year and go prove that you're going to be there all three.
Yeah.
You may only get 1 year guaranteed, but if you play like you did last year, you're going to get all three. Our guy Mon looks like he's ready, so we're going to throw him in and see if he's
I'm
able to.
I'm gonna hit
comments.
Yash real quick. Makes a great point. Yash, I agree completely. Yash, for me, it is 3 years, 30 million to Trey, no more. That's where I am with the whole Trey situation. And you're right, Tom. We have all the leverage, Mon. We have all the leverage when it comes to Trey. But before Mon goes crazy about Trey, Mon, are you excited about Mike Gesicki? I mean, it's a good day today.
Yeah, I am. Can you hear me?
We can, yes.
Yeah. No, good signing. I guess it's a pretty fair contract. I'm glad they did it. He produced for us, and I just want the other big three to fall in the line there. Guys, I got the tail end of your comments about Trey. Do you really think that he turned down $30 million a year? Do you guys really think that? Do you really think that?
I think if it was 1 year, I do think that. I think if it was 1 year, an extension, I do think that. I think he probably wants more than 1 year.
Yeah. You know what? I just don't understand. This is a cover up what I was talking about the other night. There's Bengal fans turning on Trey. He can't play the run. He can't do this. He can't do that. He gave us 35 sacks in 2 years. Playing on one of the worst defensive lines in football. One-man machine. Nobody else to pair up with him. And he gave us 35 sacks. It's going to be a huge mistake if they don't keep him. It's going to be a huge mistake. And for these Bengal fans, just to turn on him and start, I mean, they sound like the Bengal front office. And it kills me. That is the going price for elite pass rushers. If you don't want an elite pass rusher, just draft one every year and get rid of them after 3 years. I mean, it really is. It's comical.
Well, let me tell you right now. Now that you put that up, Eric, now I have to make my wife sleep on the couch because Angela knows very well that Mon does not know best. Angela,
she knows.
Angela, get out of the chat now. I want my wife out of the chat. Eric, can we block her?
No, I'm gonna kick you out and send her the link here.
Why is my wife and sister-in-laws all about Mon? I just don't get it. I don't understand the
It's
love.
the hair
Seen
gel.
the
They
fire
like the
mod,
hair gel.
Jake.
Look at this. Look at
It's
this.
the hair. Well, Mon, real quick though, the Mike Gesicki thing. Tell us your thoughts on it. 3 year, 25.5 mil, 12 mil in the first year, 8.5 for the 3 year deal. Mon, they have let CJ walk. They have let Hayden Hurst walk. They finally have a long-term situation at tight end. Are you excited about this?
Yeah, I am. Listen, I don't think he's a tight end. I know he's listed as one. I think he's a wide receiver. He's not a tight end, guys, but he's on our team. He was productive. Joe likes him. He played really well for us last year. He really did. I don't consider him a tight end. He's a liability blocking. He's a big wide receiver. That's what he is.
Wide receiver 3, right?
He's a big wide receiver 3, and I'm glad he's on the team. Good for them. $12 million first year, solid signing.
And again, this is that Joe Burrow effect, right? I mean, we'll see if the other ones start to fall into place. But Joe Burrow mentioned 4 guys at the Super Bowl, right? He mentioned Jamar, T, Trey, and Mike Gesicki. One of those now is locked in for the future. We will see about the other three and what happens. I don't think the Bengals are done this weekend, guys. I think there's going to be another extension before Monday. Mon, what do you think about that?
I hope so. I hope T signs before the start, and I think he will. They're going to get them all signed. The problem is if they drag their feet holding on the money, they're going to miss out on potential other free agents because they're saving the money for T and Chase. Get it done because they'll know more what they have in their bank account to go out and get these other free agents. I just don't want them to wait 2, 3, 4 days in the free agency when some of these players that could come in and help us have signed with other teams. I said it the other night, the Bengals are patient and they wait, and all of a sudden the player pool dries up. And then, we're reading, articles about this guy improving and looking better in the off season. I don't want that.
Yeah. Well, and I think that's a really good point because, if T doesn't get done by Monday, because again, we know Jamar's happening. I don't think that is a stressor right now. But I think if T doesn't get done by Monday, Mon and Eric, I think now maybe the Bengals, they just can't sit on their hands waiting for T to sign. We got to fix the guard situation, right? We got to fix maybe the defensive line situation, especially, if Trey's not coming back. So, I think that's a great point. Eric, what are your thoughts on that?
I mean, the biggest thing to me is it doesn't matter. Yes, we want these deals done this weekend because if T and Jamar sign extensions, their cap hits are going to be lowered. Right now, they're on the books for 26 and 21 and a half. Any extension lowers that. But even if they are playing at 26 and 21, we still have like $50 million in cap. We're going to go get the guys we need. It's not going to affect it. They may be able to, if they have those done beforehand, they may be able to go even crazier. But being that it's the tampering period, you can agree to these deals. You don't sign them till Wednesday. So you can be over the cap technically on Monday by your signings and not have an issue on Wednesday because you maybe win extend those. Twitter is kind of a buzz. We got a good comment here for Jacqueline Hyde that there's people saying that T's on a jet from Miami right now. Don't know if that's confirmed. This might be like the LL Collins out there at the Kirkwood.
We love that though. Thing. Wasn't that great? You guys remember when LL Collins, like people were like, what do you call that when they take their picture and like Photoshop it in? Remember when people were Photoshopping his picture?
That's what it's called, Jake.
I don't know. My wife does all that.
Photoshopping them in. Now it's a little bit more crazy. You can, we could actually take AI and put Angela's face over on top of you if you wanted.
No, we don't want. No, we don't want to do that. Listen,
guys. I'm 15 minutes from Trey Hendrickson's hometown. That's why I'm going nuts for Trey Hendrickson. I just want you guys to know that. All right, go back.
Go knock on his door. Find out what's going on.
Is his family still there? Go find out. Go get us some inside information. Bengals Pulse. We will stay live.
Listen, you know what we have to call him then? Florida Mon, arrested for stalking Trey Hendrickson.
No. And just so you guys know, Angela is not allowed in the Bengal room. So that is a house rule. Even my 8-year-old son Ryder will, if she goes in there and I'm not home, he will rat her out and let me know that she went to the Bengal room.
I mean, that sounds like a rule where Jake won't be allowed in the whole house. You might want to ease up on that one.
So, Mon, let me ask you this, Mon. Eric and I talked about this before you came on. We know how big of a fan you are of Tanner Hudson. So I know you were excited when we re-signed him for a year. The Bengals, basically the entire tight end room returning. Eric obviously is going to miss the season, Mon. I know you had talked about on our last show that you thought maybe the Bengals might draft a tight end. Do you still think that? Because, again, Mon, we are looking at a Bengals tight end room of Gesicki and Sample and Hudson and Grandy. And, again, Eric all won't be playing, but you still got Tanner McLaughlin too. Are the Bengals going to draft a tight end? I don't see them sign a free agent, but you think they might draft one?
I do see that. I think they will. We saw a shift 2 years ago when Burrow was injured. and Browning came in. They started playing heavy tight end, started running the ball a little bit better, and I think they're really going to emphasize on tight ends. They had 4 on the roster last year and 2 on the practice squad. So they could. I think they might later in the draft the tight end. I would not be surprised if they did.
That's interesting. I think I don't know. I don't know. With 6 picks and the holes on defense, I think it would be very interesting if they do, because I still think running back's in play, right? Don't you guys think that running back is still in play in the draft? I think there could be a running back. Remember, the Bengals have met with Genty. They've met with Scatterboo. I mean, they're obviously doing some work when it comes to the running back situation. I don't know. I think it'll be interesting to see. Real quick, jumping ship right back to Trey. I know we got to get out of here soon, but real quick, Mon, on the Trey Hendrickson situation, I am another team, and I am calling the Bengals right now about Trey Hendrickson. What do I have to bring to the table for you, Mon Abelhassan? If you are Duke Tobin and Mike Brown, what do I have to bring to the table for you to get Trey Hendrickson from you?
I want a 2nd-round pick this year and a 5th-round pick this year, or a 4th-rounder next year. That will do it for me. If Trey Hendrickson gets traded, I still hope he stays with the team, because, guys, I'm still affected by the stuff that's happened over the last few years. When you have a known commodity, you don't let him go. You don't let him go. Kevin Zeitler, Jesse Bates. We can name all these Bengals. I get he's 30, but he's still productive. He's gotten better each year as a Bengal. I just hope that calmer heads. I hope he gives a little. I hope the Bengals give a little, and they can find a way to keep him. But if not, a 2nd and a 5th. A 2nd and a 5th would do it for me.
You know what I like, because we talked about this, Mon, and Eric. I want your thoughts on this too, because I am not taking anything less than a 1st for Trey Hendrickson. I'm just not. I don't care what anyone says. I don't care if people say you're not going to get a 1st. I don't care. I'm not taking a 1st. I'm hanging up the phone.
I got to get off, guys. Listen, I appreciate you guys, and we'll be on later. We'll be in touch.
Tell your brother and your family thoughts and prayers.
Thank you. All right, bye-bye.
Yeah,
see you.
So, Eric, listen, I am not taking anything less than a 1st. Now, we have seen some of these simulators out there talking about, well, what if the Bengals flip spots with the Bears? Let's use the Bears, for instance. They're picking 10th. The Bengals and Bears swap first round picks, and then the Bengals get, for me, it's got to be, if we're doing that, if I'm moving up 7 spots in the 1st, I want their 2nd round pick too. I'm not taking anything less than that, because, again, I don't think what people are taking in consideration with this is the Bengals have all the leverage. They do. I don't care what anyone says. They have all the leverage in this situation. I love Trey. You know that my son Ryder and I got to meet Trey and hang out with him at the Pro Bowl. I love him. He is one of my favorite Bengals on this football team. But the Bengals need Trey Hendrickson. And again, I'm not giving him away for nothing. I'm just not doing it.
Yeah, to me, it's got to be a late 1st or an early 2nd. If there's a pick swap involved, we should still pick up another pick or a player. I don't know who the targets would be. What value does it give us to go up to 10?
Right.
Is there a defensive lineman we're going to miss out on at 17? I don't think so. What kind of player moving up to 10? The players that are going to be there are the Ashton Genties and maybe the Warrens, and you probably really don't need to move up for that. So to me, I'm all in on if you can get a starting guard and a pick for him, a starting guard, like an $8 to $10 million a year guard, and say a 3rd or 4th rounder. I'm all in for that. Otherwise, it's got to be a late 1st, an early 2nd. In my view, if you give me something that gives me the ability to swap Trey for Xavier Watts, a young guy that Al Golden has already mentored and trained up, that's a big thing, because then you're getting another defensive impact starter right away that's already familiar with Al Golden and really can hit the ground running. Anything less than top 10 pick in the 2nd round, I'm not taking. We have the leverage, and he can play for us for $16 million.
And Yash is throwing out the Jaguars pick And again, I know that might not happen, but honestly, in all realistic situations with this, Trey Hendrickson is a commodity, right? He is not. Somebody was talking about Geno Smith. Geno Smith obviously traded to the Raiders yesterday. Listen, Trey Hendrickson is much more of a commodity than Geno Smith. That you can't compare that. To me, Trey Hendrickson being a top 3 pass rusher in the NFL, like I said, for me personally, you better bring something to the table, because I'm hanging the phone up if you are not even talking about a first round swap or a first round pick. I'm hanging the phone up. And I'm going to say this too. Is that if it does come out that Trey turned down a 2-year extension, 30 mil plus, then you know what? That's not going to make me very happy, Eric, to be honest with you, because that's a very fair offer for a 31-year-old defensive end. Again, I want Trey to get his. I want him to get his money. He's earned it. I love Trey, but these guys have all talked about wanting to win a Super Bowl in Cincinnati. Well, there's got to be some give and take, right? I mean, there does. You're not getting $37 million a year like Max Crosby. He's a lot younger, so it's just not the situation, and that's where we are. But I'm not giving up on the Trey Hendrickson situation. I'm really not, because I have watched this team for 40 plus years, and the way this team operates is you can say what you want to say about Mike Brown, but sometimes his stubbornness is a benefit for the Bengals. And I think this is going to be one of those situations where it is.
Yeah, and there's some comments in here too. I think Malik is out. Malik Wright has put out there that it was not a $30 to $32 million offer, maybe a $23 million offer we gave him. So it'll be interesting to see when all that comes out, really what we offered him and what he gets. If someone's out there willing to give him 3 years with 2 of them guaranteed, 30 some million,
yeah,
that's great. That's his value. But if they're not willing to give us a high second round pick or a late first, the two don't go hand in hand. And Andrew Whitworth has had his issues with negotiations and whatnot with the Bengals, but he did put it out there pretty well. Everybody's up in arms of the transparency. Well, the Bengals, pretty much were very transparent. They said, this is what we believe this is how we value you. Go ahead and go talk to other people and tell us how they value you. But at the same time, we feel you're worth staying here, so they're going to have to pay us what we think you're worth. So it's good, because on one hand, he might go out there and get offers of $28 million and see that, I'd rather stay in Cincinnati for this contract. I do have a good relationship with Mike Brown. I know that most likely I'm going to see all 3 years of this deal, even if they're not guaranteed. So I'm going to gamble on myself, but we'll see.
I just think it's going to be interesting, right? Because we have heard everywhere now from $23 million a year to $30 million a year. So I am not going to go crashing out until I hear exactly from the Bengals or from Trey Hendrickson's side where exactly they are money wise. I do think it is interesting though that that Trey really hasn't come out and spoke about that part of it. So maybe there is still some hope out there. But I think I sent you guys this earlier today, and I can't remember where I got it from. Let me see here. I think it was from where was that at? Where was that at that I sent you guys that today about how much the Bengals would be spending for their top 4 guys. I can't remember where I found that at, but it was like if the Bengals, I think it was from NFL Network or something, but it was that, the Bengals with their top 4 guys, so Burrow, Chase, Higgins, and Hendrickson, if they were to pay those guys, Burrow's 55, if Jamar's close to 40, if T's close to 30, if Trey's close to 30, That's like 57% of the Bengals cap going to 4 guys. And we compare teams like the Eagles to the Bengals, but the Eagles' top 4 guys is like at 47%. So again, there has to be some give and take. It really does. It's not that the Bengals can't sign all 4 guys. It still has to make sense because we're trying to win a Super Bowl and we got other positions to fill.
Well, we see how our Bengals defense did last year, being paid a lot of money. So my thing is yeah, we're gonna go out and take a lot of swings in free agency, but going with a young defense would have made sense last year. Play the young
Yes.
guys the way they were performing. It would have been
Yes.
just as good
That's
just
a great
to
point.
have extended Jamar and T last year and ran with a really young defense. We are at the 31-minute mark. We didn't want to go too long because we're expecting to do a couple more breaking news ones.
Hopefully. Hopefully.
Definitely. I got plenty of jerseys to go through. There is a report by James Rapine that I didn't realize it was James Rapine, but he is scheduled to land in Cincinnati on Saturday afternoon. So T is on his way to Cincinnati. He may have been just doing that. It may have just been a precursor, knowing that if a deal needs to be signed, it should be signed by Monday. But that's a good sign. Hopefully he lands in northern Kentucky and takes the 15-minute ride over to Paycor and gets his deal signed. So we've got
Eric,
Go
if T is done, it really gives the Bengals so much more flexibility, right? So much more flexibility. Once T's deal is done, I really feel like it takes the pressure off a little bit, and the guys can just, the front office can just do their thing. And again, I am on the side right now, and you guys know I do not give this Bengals front office a lot of leeway. I have been very hard on them for the last year and a half, but I am giving them a benefit of the doubt right now. I do think this front office is going to put this thing together. I really do.
So my one last thought on it: getting T done is a big sign to internal and external free agents that this is a bit different Bengals team. Getting
Yes.
him done, and especially paying him more than 30 million a year, is a sign to the rest of the league that the Bengals are serious about being contenders. I love Cincinnati X community out there because right now we've got people tracking an airplane that is very close, if not the same tail number to the airplane that picked up Orlando Brown Jr. So I'm here for it. I love it. Let's wait for, obviously T said he was going to let us know first, so we pretty much just got to keep refreshing T's his X account and wait for that news to drop. Let's hope March 8th is the day that lives in infamy for Bengals news. We get some T signing, maybe Jamar extension, and we can all just
Just
crack
relax.
open some.
We could blow out the torches. Just blow out the torches, Bengals Twitter. Everybody just relax. Relax. There's a lot more free agency to come. We will be here on the Bengals Pulse for all of it. Again, guys, thank you so much for joining us. I know it was an emergency cast, but man, there were some
700 in here.
700 in here, and great comments. We love you guys, man. We appreciate you guys so much. You are the best. You truly are the best. Thank you so much. Be ready, guys, because if T puts pen to paper, we will be here live on the Bengals Pulse. As always, guys, if you like this podcast, make sure you like, share, and subscribe to this podcast. Make sure you check us out on Twitter and all the other Apple, Stitcher, Spotify, all the other podcast platforms. Guys, make sure you give us that 5-star review. We very much appreciate that. Jennifer, stop, Jennifer, with that. Come on, Jennifer, you and I are on the same team, Jennifer. You can't do that to me. Guys, follow him on Twitter at the Firemon. Follow me on Twitter at Coach Jake Owens 9. Follow Eric on Twitter at eFlash with 2 H's 88. Follow the Cincinnati Podcast Network on Twitter at Cincinnati Pod. And as always, guys, follow the Bengals Pulse on Twitter at Bengals_Pulse9. The same without the @ on Instagram, Bengals_Pulse9. And as always, guys, check out all the awesome podcasts right here on the Cincinnati Podcast Network. He is Eric. I am Jake, our guy, Mon. Thoughts and prayers to you and your family, Mon, and to your brother over there. Guys, make sure you check us out. Follow us on Twitter. We're going to let you know if we're going live here in the next day or two. Thank you guys so much. We love you. We appreciate you. Hoo day, Bengal fans. Hopefully we talk to you later on today. We'll see.